Ukanon, chapter 8. Go ahead and clap me in, son. We here. This is an attempt to collect the debt. Ukanon 8 and 30. Ain't that right? Other brother gonna get me Ukanon. Ukanon Olive. Got my A. Olive. No. Goodness. Chapter 2, verse 14. Let's see what it said. Ukanon 8 and 30. Listen to the book.
As he spake these words,
Many what?
Many believed on him.
What did he tell them, son?
Then said Yahusha to those Yahudim which believed on him,
What did he tell them?
If ye continue in my word,
Then
are ye my disciples indeed.
What do we look at for continue? The noon for continuation, to be continued. We talked about again what we had to become. We had to become the ben. Ain't that right? A noon. That's what we got to become, the ben of noon. Meaning you got to continue. We got to begin, and we got to look at the summit. For what reason? Steadfast. Ain't that right? All these things we got to consider, my brethren. Listen. Then
and ye shall know the truth,
and the truth
shall make you free.
Isn't that right? Listen.
They answered him, We be Abraham's seed,
And what happened?
and were never in bondage to any man.
Listen.
How sayest thou, ye shall be made free? Yahusha answered them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin.
Tell them what happened, son.
And the servant abideth not in the house forever.
So you look at being Abraham's seed, they looked at not being in the captivity. Isn't that right? We start looking at sin. We didn't know Abraham to be in any type of captivity. Now we start looking at what's got us in holding today. We're in captivity. Isn't that right? Not just with the place, we talking about a behavior. Isn't that right? We talked about again, you can't account yourself to Abraham according to the flesh. The book teaches us that they that are of the flesh, these are not the children of Abraham. We look at what we had to look at. We look at the whole purpose of us being here is the promise. We talked about this a little on Shabbat day, and hopefully you guys got a grasp of understanding how important the promise is to us. Again, we look at why did we get law according to the word? That's the only reason we added, because of transgression, until the seed should come to whom the promises were made. So now we got to start going back again and start considering these things. This is something we lack. So we go back to look at the law. We look at what was in existence before. We start to look at the promise. Isn't that right? Abraham had a promise. Now, when he got that promise, we want to consider something. Law had already been instituted. Isn't that right? Law had already been instituted, but what Abraham got was not by the law. Isn't that right? We kept, in us keeping the law, those strictest to the law, it actually allowed us to come back to see, to consider somebody, to identify someone. That person whom we were to identify came through by promise. There were some laws involved. He told her that when the fullness of time would come, Yahuwah sent forth his son made. That's law. That's law. Ain't that right? That's law. Look at the book of Barashit. Barashit, chapter 3 verse 14. Y'all all right tonight? Amen. I can turn that heat down just a smidge, Natty. Isn't that right? Somebody said, what you want to do, barbecue or meal do? Right now, we want a meal do. We almost at a perfect state. This is Barashit, chapter 3, verse 14. Listen.
And Elohim said unto the serpent.
Tell them what it say, son. What happened?
Because thou hast done this, thou art
He said
cursed.
Abraham said unto his servant.
And Elohim.
Did y'all hear servant? That what I mean. Oh, okay. What he say?
And Elohim said unto the serpent,
Oh, to the serpent. Well, that's that slang. It sounded like he said serpent. Here's how he said serpent. Didn't it? Is that right? You meant serpent?
and Elohim said unto the serpent,
serpent.
because
Don't play me. You the one that said serpent. Who ever heard serpent? Anybody hear that? Look at that. Raise your hand, y'all heard serpent. I thought he said unto his servant. I said, servant?
yeah,
Come on. Don't worry about it. You're not from Georgia. Go ahead.
because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle,
Yeah.
and above every beast of the field.
Yeah.
Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman,
What did we say enmity was?
mutual hate,
Mutual hatred. Listen.
and between thy seed
Yes.
and her seed.
Yes.
It shall bruise thy head,
Is that not a law? How are we working out today with us and the snake? Snake don't care nothing for us, and we don't care nothing for it. Except for some crazy black folks and crazy white folks. Yeah, but as a whole, though, we don't get along. Ain't that right? Whoever see who first, somebody supposed to scream, holler, bite, mess, pee, and run and get bit. That's the whole chain of how it work with us. Ain't that right? Whoever catch who first, somebody getting bit, stomped, poop, pee, mess, all of the above, all those in the category, that's all in your law. Cause that mutual hatred. Isn't that right? You do everything you can to get away from each other. Listen.
and thou shalt bruise his heel.
And what happened?
Unto the woman he said, I will
And thou shalt bruise his.
heel.
And that's how we know what we've already been categorized in. Ain't that right? That's what we did to him. No way to nail his feet and not bruise his heel. He told him, amazing, when we sat down with him, he told him the same one that sit down at the seat, we're going to lift up his heels against me. Listen.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow
And then what?
and thy conception.
Yes.
In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
And you know what he did in the book of Galatians 4:4 right quick. In sorrow thou shalt do what?
Bring forth children.
Yes.
And thy desire shall be to thy husband,
And he,
shall rule over thee.
every time these laws are broken, that's why we got transgression. And today, the truth be told, a woman desire not to her husband. Truth be told now, it's to her mother, it's to her family, it's to her friends, it's to her co-workers, it's to the TV, it's to movies. Truth that being told now, it's to the mall, it's to everything else. This is a law. This is a law. When you go down, you have that baby, you end up there giggling and laughing. Then you ought to already know the law ain't been broken off, and your desire supposed to be to your husband. And he supposed to rule over you. Y'all hear me? Let's see what he told in Galatians 4:4. Listen.
But when the fullness of time was come,
What did he do, son?
Elohim sent forth his son
Made
of a woman
made
under the law,
to do what?
redeem them that were under the law.
So now we start looking at a couple of things, just in a mere statement. The mere fact, when you talk about redeeming something, you're talking about getting something back to value. Sometimes you might have some, they say you can redeem it at participating stores. Isn't that right? You can get the value of this if you come to this location or if you perform or do this act. So that's what we start to look at. Once the law was sent in and law was imputed unto us already, he already knew man was going to commit sin. Man was going to need a way to get back. Y'all got me? He already knew that. You got the law before you got the promise. Y'all got me? So make no mistake, the promise wasn't given before the law. You got the law, then you had a promise that was instituted during the law, just like Abraham. There's no way in the world that the promise was given and there was no law. He told you that Abraham obeyed, kept. Isn't that right? All these different things he kept. So the law was already instituted. When they was in the garden, they had law. That was before Abraham. That was a law when Noah was here. Y'all got me? So law was already here first. Now we're looking at the promise. Y'all got me? Now we're looking at the promise. Now, during the institution of the promise, now when the promise came, did that stop the law? No. Not at all. It did not. The law did not come in and disannul the promise. The law that we know that our forefathers got in the land of Mizraim, it did not disannul the promise. Now we start looking at, since the law was here, we found a transaction right here in our first part of our creation. First part, when we start dealing with Barashit in the beginning, we start dealing with creation right here. In creation, we found man has fallen and man has committed sin and trespass. No promise here. 6th chapter of the book of Barashit. Man, we got a wonderful Elohim. Wonderful. Let's look at this right quick. This is the 6th chapter, 6 and 1. Listen.
And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth.
What happened, son?
And the daughters were born unto them.
Tell them what happened, son.
That the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they choose. And Yahuwah and Elohim said, my ruach shall not always strive with man.
For that he what?
Also his flesh.
What happened?
Yet his days shall be 120 years.
Listen.
There were giants in the Eretz in those days, and also after that, when the sons of Elohim came in unto the daughters of men.
What happened?
And they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And Elohim saw that the wickedness of man was great in the Eretz, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
And every what now?
And that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
I wonder how he found that out. Who knows how he was able to see that? That's a big statement. What was the statement again? Elohim did what?
And Elohim saw that the wickedness of man was great in the Eretz, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Where we at, brother? Abarim. Give me 4 and 9. We'll just start down. Kind of back and forth, but let's just see if it worked that he see fit to give us a little understanding. That's what we're supposed to get in all our getting understanding. Don't forget what our whole purpose of him coming, and we can start to see the parallel of do things actually line up that people actually believe he came. According to the promise. That was a promise given this man. And we're going back to look at these promises to see where they fulfill for us. Do we actually believe them? Because now we got to start looking at our current situation, our behavior, versus what he came to do. Y'all got me? Let's just look and see. This is 4 and 9. Listen.
There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of Elohim.
What he wants to do, Brandon?
For he that is entered into his rest,
Had done what?
he also hath ceased from his own works.
We know about that, don't we? Because when we start to look at when he set up Shabbai in that same book of Barashit, and there in the 2nd chapter, the book told you all his creation was in 6 days. And the 7th, on Shabbai, he rested. You wouldn't call it Shabbat, it was Shabbai. He rested. Isn't that right? It became Shabbat for us. Isn't that right? He rested from all his labor. So then we start to look at the parallel for us. For he that has entered into his rest has ceased from what happened?
His own works.
For what reason, Brandon?
As Elohim did from his.
See that? He gave you somebody that you can sit and you can mimic. You should have stopped. He didn't go back to recreate man that time. He stopped. He ceased from it. He stopped. That's the whole purpose of what he was trying to show. You can just stop something that you're doing. He said, I've been doing something. I stopped doing it. I stopped. When did he go back and make man? I left it alone. I left it alone. I didn't go back and create another earth or rest, did he? He created another Shamayim. He rested, he left from it. So if you got in his rest, how you still going back to lying and cheating and stealing? That's what you used to do before the rest. I'm just asking, we're looking at something. He said, if I did like he did, I'm just trying to find when he created another one. When he destroyed the first rest, he still left people here to go back and recreate or to replenish. Ain't that right? He didn't go from nowhere. Ain't that right? He kept some he found that were righteous. New ark in his household. Save 8. That 8 was so significant to him, he told that Abraham on the 8th day I want you to circumcise, cut it off. Because you know what he did at 8? He cut it off. He cut off at 8. Nobody else wasn't getting there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cut it off. What were you supposed to do on the 8th day, man? Cut it off. That's how significant it came. We got a feast come in. You know the great day of it is? 8th day, cut it off. You ain't got no bed after the 8th day, you shouldn't be doing it no more. Cut it off. Y'all all right? Amen. We just come back to start to look at these things he set up for. Why you hadn't cut it off yet? We're not talking about the foreskin. We're talking about the heart. We look at a lot of things that we wind up doing that were fleshly, carnal law. But he started telling them there's some things you need to do. You need to cut some things out of your heart. That's what he did on the day of Pentecost, or Feast of Weeks. Now when they heard this, they were what? Cut them. Cut them. Y'all hear me? So we start to learn these things from the parallel of the law. But in learning things, when we talk about this is something, And I thank the Most High for them. When we look at the book of Galatians, why so many Christian churches do error, and some of these camps error because they don't sit to look at them, blow out somebody's camp light. They ain't need it. They was in the dark with light. We missed some things that were significantly spoken unto us. They were significant for the fact that Shaul tried to tell us how the law was our schoolmaster. What was it supposed to do? It's supposed to guide us somewhere. It's supposed to get you to the Mashiach. That's the whole purpose of why you follow the law. It should have got you to him. Y'all hear me? He said, now when we got there, he said, we were no longer under schoolmaster. Huh? Even the Mashiach, he told you that as long as he was a child, he didn't differ from nothing under servant. Huh? Though he be Elohim of all, but he was under tutors, he was under governors. Guess to when? To the time appointed. To the time appointed. He had to do that. Huh? When they showed him the coin, he wanted to see whose it was. What did he tell them? Run to Caesar. What's Caesar? Get Elohim. What belongs to Elohim? What are they going to tell you? I'm under tutors. I'm under governors. I'm under authority to the time appointed. Now, when my time comes, I tell you what I think about Caesar. Huh? But if that's your law, he said, go ahead and give it to him. Y'all all right? He was on him. He didn't have to actually he did. He had to send the man to go see the priest. The Kahan, and offer that which is according to the law. That had to be done. It had to be done. Had to be done. Couldn't break it. That's the law. Because, he got to look at what the writing said about. I'm under tutors, I'm under governors. Governors, man, I'm under rule. Until the time, now, make no mistake, as Esau was told by our father, Yasakut, but after them become restless, then you're going to break his yoke off. And after you got restless, after you got enough of this, you had enough, you're going to break his yoke. Y'all hear me? So now we're starting to look at all these different things now what's starting to happen to us and how we start looking at the transformation. See, it's all going to start to make sense if you pay attention. It should start to make sense. See, people have been teaching the law from a fine point, but people have been missing that promise. That promise thing's serious now. Huh? That promise is serious. Huh? That's why we're here. The whole thing through the righteousness of faith. In order for you to see the promise, it's got to be a righteousness of faith. Y'all got me? We have to have the right. What dictates our faith is the written word. Isn't that right? I just can't have something that I came up with and composed myself, and I decide it's going to be a working, and that's how I'm going to do it. That's not going to be faith. Faith going to come by, hearing going to come by, which means I need something to measure up to. Isn't that right? That's why we had scales, so we can weigh things. When he told Yochanan to go, and he told him to measure the city, we're going like, that's about 40 feet. That's about 100. Because my grandmama, her house was like, it's going to be off. Ain't that right? Take you a reed. Let's measure that thing out. And when it came down when New Ark built the ark, told that man that right, he had to be so many cubics. A cubit believed to be about from a man's finger to the elbow. Give him so many cubics. Everything got to be measured out. Everything got to be right. Just wait. Everything makes sense. Just him. Everything got to be right. Y'all hear me? So we come back to start to look at the law, and we start to look at the promise, we got to make sure we measure this thing out right. Y'all got me? Because we understand we had the law first, then a promise was instituted. Now we start seeing what happened with a lot of these different camps and these Christians, they all kind of mix and mingle. If they can actually just sit down and look, and some points can be made, but they just got to know how to rightly divide. Isn't that right? Because some will come in and say, well, see, when he came, the law was done away with. No, what was done away with was the offering and sacrificing for sin. Y'all, him coming on the scene was a necessary. Y'all got me? There's no way to get, when it's a necessary, there's no way to get around it. It's a necessary, there's no way to get around it. You can't substantiate, you can't validate without, he's a necessary. You got me? What the Hebrew Israelites will come on and feel like, there's no need for him, you got the law. But what you're going to have when you got the law, you're going to have a whole lot of still error. That's why we're reading. You're going to find a whole lot of error. And we're going to look at why you got all these errors. Jump over, son, and get me the book of Tahalim. See if that's 73:28. Let's see that's what I want. Let's see that's what I want, 73:28. Y'all go ahead and take it ready. Don't worry. I know it's Wednesday night. I didn't try to hold y'all to it. Don't worry about it. Get it. So if you get it now, you should be woke by Shabbat night. Hopefully. Hopefully. That's always like Ryan said. Hope you make it in. Hopefully. Listen.
But it is good for me to draw near to Yahuwah.
7-8 then. 7-8, 23. Let's see that what I want. Listen.
Though he had commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of Shamayim and had rained down manna upon them to eat,
What happened, son?
and had given them of the corn of Shamayim, man did eat Malachi food.
Y'all hear what he did? Ate Malachi food. What happened, son?
He sent them meat to do the to do. He
To
sent them meat.
Duke. To Duke.
He sent them meat to the full.
Hold on, but how'd you get to Duke? To Duke. Don't worry about it. Come on. Sub it. What is that, sub it? Come on, sub it.
I tell you. He caused an east wind to blow in the Shamayim, and by his power he brought in the south wind.
Come on.
He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea.
Come on.
And he let it fall in the midst of their camp,
Yeah.
round about their habitation.
Come on.
So they did eat and were filled,
Come on, son.
for he gave them their own desire.
Come on.
They were not estranged from their lust,
What happened, son?
but while their meat was yet in their mouths,
What happened?
the wrath of Elohim came upon them,
Listen.
and slew the fattest of them, and smote down the chosen men of Yasharal. For all this they sinned still.
I don't know why. It's all this, they still sin. Didn't stop no sinning. Got law. Man, I came in and even failed them. That's why he talked about eating no sacrifice to eat meat. Hadn't profited them. He said hadn't profited people who had occupied. Those people had food that sat in. He said, I fed these folks with saying with the food, I get my messages. He said, these people sat here and guess what? All this, they sitting still. They sitting still. Yahushua tried to tell us this in the same 6th chapter of the book of Yehukanan. Huh? He said, I'm the true bread that came down from Shammah. He said, not the bread your father did eat and are dead. Hadn't occupied them. You see how we start looking at it? What good is all this if you still wind up dying? You still commit sin. Giving them bread from Shamayim didn't do nothing. Christian church, I'm bread of heaven, feed me till I want no more bread. Nigga, you ain't gonna do but keep sinning. See that? So we started learning that now it makes sense when we read, he said it hadn't actually sufficed the people it occupied. You got me? So now we look at it. Listen to what he said.
And believe not for his wondrous works.
Look, that didn't even make them believe. You know what I'm saying? Ate some bread that came down from Shamayim. This man done rained fire. You said that's what you want me. You said domino pizza deliver. I deliver. I let it fall right in your camp. To your full. But I see you hadn't changed. He look at it. Didn't make no difference. You hadn't changed. So while this flesh was still in their while was yet in their mouth, he says, I ain't gonna wax hot with them. Listen.
Therefore, their days did he consume in vanity.
And what happened, son?
And their years in trouble.
Look at that. Vanity is nothing. He had all their day wound up being to nothing. Listen.
When he slew them,
Then,
they sought him,
what else happened?
and they returned and inquired early after
That's why a
Yahuwah.
lot of us here now. Had he not afflicted me, I wouldn't have been him. See, when you got that old Christian type mentality, you look at it, that's the part that make you sound, you start, God, I want to question you. Why? Why would you do that? These innocent people. How these people innocent when he said these people here still sinning? When I was a Christian, I would have never paid attention they sin still. I never would have paid attention to the fact they forsook him. All I looked at is, I ain't trying to question, but why would you just kill that many people? I'm not looking at why would that many people turn away from somebody that saved them? Why would that many people turn away from somebody that worked wonders and signs of miracles for them? See, we never look like that. A Christian don't think like that. Christian, that's when you see that's that old law. I thank God for Jesus. Because Jesus come in. The man who you think is Jesus ain't coming when you commit no sin. We'll look at it tonight right quick. We're going to find out the Jesus that they're going to call by the wrong name they call him. That's why they can go along with the white picture wrong name, because they know they're going the wrong way, and it makes absolutely no sense. Listen.
And they remembered that Elohim was their rock,
Tell them what happened, son.
and the high Elohim their redeemer.
What happened, son?
Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth,
And what did they do, son?
and they lied unto him with their tongue.
We should know about that. How many times y'all confess? Nevertheless, you lied to him. Come on.
For their heart was not right with him,
Look, see, your heart ain't right. Listen.
neither were they steadfast in his covenant.
Look at that. Wouldn't even stay with it. I don't care what happened. Listen.
But he, being full of compassion,
What happened, son?
forgave their iniquity.
How do we let them tell about this was that hard God? That old Lord. See, back then, God didn't have no mercy. You know, God would just kill them people for nothing. I used to sit there and you be listening to that stuff. You said, man, it was, man, he was rough. And you see it and view it that way because you still committing sin. You looking at it from a perspective of, I'm still a transgressor. I don't want to be corrected for being a transgressor. I don't want to be smitten. So whenever I see him smite people down or destroy people that transgress like I transgress, of course I'm going to be on their side. I'm going to be the wrong person to ask. But when you get the viewpoint from moving from your transgression, from that old mindset and start becoming obedient, the word makes sense. I heard clear what he said. He said, they sin still. We already know how he feel about sin. That's the first problem. How does he feel about sin? He hates sin. They lied to him. He told you a lie ain't going to tear in my sight. So all of it makes sense for what they will recompense. Versus you looking at it from the viewpoint, you yourself still transgressing. So all you looking at, I still say they should have another chance because you want a chance to continue to do what you're doing wrong. Again, we start out, it's right to live right, it's just wrong to live wrong. Come on, son.
And destroyed them not.
Look at that. Hard law. God, back then he wasn't the loving God he is today. When he told us, I'm Elohim, I change not. He said, therefore you sons of your cold, that's why you ain't been consumed. That makes no sense when he told it. I never changed. You've been the people changing the whole time. He said, I remain the same. In the garden, I told him I don't go along with sin. If anything, you can see where I've been more compassionate to you, if anything. I've always had compassion. When he proclaimed the name unto Moshe, he told him that. Long suffering, forgiving sins and iniquity. By no means I ain't clearing no guilty. I'm not clearing no guilty. He came to God, he could have kept that between them. We didn't have no nothing about it. He said, I ain't going to cover for you. I ain't going to cover for you. He told him the bed is shorter. Ain't that right? You're not going to be able to stretch yourself in him. Yeah. And the covering now, y'all ain't going to wrap yourself up in him. Yeah. Ain't that right? Let them know what you put on. They ain't going to cover you. It's not sufficient. Yeah. That's what make us get to a point set of looking at why it's so important for us to live right. Yeah. Come on, finish this up, son.
Yea, many a time turned he his anger away.
They don't talk about that. Many times it turned away. You look around, first thing we look at. I remember John with him one time. I used to put people out to do stuff. He would tell people all the time. He said, y'all always look at when preacher cut somebody off, y'all think it'd be one thing. He said, never one thing with preacher. He said, never one thing. He said, it'd be more stuff than what y'all know. He said, y'all just don't know nothing about it. I said, you're right. He said, y'all don't know. It don't be one thing. That's how it works. When you read the book, you'll see where he cut somebody. First thing you thinking, them people didn't do that one time. That's all they done. You got other stuff on your record. You got other stuff you've done. Isn't that right? See, people won't come tell the truth and look at how many times he been merciful to them. Isn't that right? Folks just tell like, hey, man, ain't even get a fair shake. Man, ain't even have a chance. Is that the truth, though? How in the world all of us get these chances and you tell me nobody will get no chances? A certain amount of knowledge don't allow for it. Certain amount of knowledge don't allow for all the mistakes. There's certain stuff you can take from a baby. There's some stuff you just can't take from no adult. So I just can't take it from them. You're too grown. You know too much. And just like the Malachi said, which kept not their first estate. He said, I'm not finna sin and spare no stuff like that. It ain't make no sense to spare. Now we start looking here and sin. That's why he gave you a teacher, a roha, an instructor. Gave you a lineman, so it make no sense for some of the stuff that you guys do to set and play like you ignorant, and there should be other chances. There should be payment and punishment for your ignorance. Well, not for your stupidity. Ignorant means you wouldn't know. Y'all just been, man, he been lax with us. He been real lax with us. But he ain't going to clear the guilty. Come on, finish this up, son.
And did not stir up all his wrath.
That's what I love about him. I know I ain't got it, but he ain't gave me all his wrath. What happened, son?
For he remembered that they were but flesh.
And what happened, son?
A wind that passeth away.
What happened, son?
And cometh not again.
Yeah.
How oft did they provoke him in the wilderness?
Yeah.
And grieve him in the desert?
What happened, son?
Yea, they turned back and tempted Elohim. And limited the Kadash one of Yasharal.
See, folks don't talk about that. He said, how many times I didn't stir up all my wrath? How many times y'all tempted me? He look at how many times y'all done, count how many times you done messed up. How many times I done spared you? How many times he look at I done let you off? Folks don't come and tell the truth and just give them tell the truth and say, that man been more than patient with me. Hey, man, I ain't talking about Pastor, I'm talking about him. Man, been more than patient with us. Been over fair.
Yep.
Ain't that right? Be honest, he can't, in a sense, it ain't even almost right to say he just. Y'all understand what I'm saying when I say that? Because we had received justice.
Nope.
Truth be told, but you know what I love about him though? He already made preparation. That's why you gotta love him. Man had to make preparation. He know what kind of person he was. He knew if I don't put no provisions in him, you done. He already knew what he'd do. We done. He already knew. We done. Y'all hear me? We done. That man put no provision in him. We were done. We were done. Everybody, we were done. That man done cut off a whole living people. Cut them off. Done cleansed the whole arrest and saved 8 people. What them people doing back then? Marrying. Same thing he said you doing today. Eating and drinking and marrying. Got homosexual to everybody doing it. Man, so I ain't stirred up all my wrath. Even when he destroyed the whole arrest, we don't even look at the fact. That man just that kind of merciful. I didn't take everything. He nailed him. He said, give me 7 of them clean. Go on now. Even when he went down and destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, he told him, I'll spare the city if it be 50. He said, but pre-adventure, Elohim, you go down there, it'll be before that. He said, before that, I'll spare him. Listen, I don't mean to try to wear out my welcome. But pre-adventure, if it be 30 righteous. He said, if it be 30, I'll spare him. He said, just say, if it don't be but 20 people. He got him all with that den. He said, get loot out. I'm destroying the city. That mercy. Could have destroyed it with him in it. The mere fact that he even had the conversation. Before he destroyed it, he said, I got to go down and see. He said the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah done came up, so I got to see if the thing be so. That's what he told us. We hear a thing. He said, investigate and make sure the thing be so. He never stepped in and didn't have nobody's word. He taught us the same thing he told us. Investigate and see whether the thing be so. Somebody done said, man, them guys I not see it. He said, I got to see it. I got to see it. I got to make sure the thing be so. Isn't that right? He got to make sure when he move, he just. Ain't that right? He just the mere fact he done spared us, y'all. Y'all got to consider y'all walk. Y'all let too much light overtake y'all. Y'all forget your walk, your commitment. Why I had you holding, son? 4th chapter of the book of Abari. I got to tie all this up right quick for him, too. Listen.
Continue to verse 11. Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief.
Y'all hear what he said? Let us labor therefore to do what?
Enter into that rest.
Listen why?
Lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief.
Listen.
For the word of Elohim is quick and powerful.
Tell them what else is it, Brandon.
And sharper than any two-edged sword.
Tell them what it do.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and ruach.
What happened, son?
And of the joints and marrow. And is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
That's how he knew how to destroy those people. He said every thought and imagination, even in them, continue. You know how I know? Because I put the word out there. They don't like that word. He said, you ain't going to stop. You're not going to stop, are you? You're just going to keep going. He said, I already know what you're going to do. Day of Pentecost. That's why he said, heard this. He already knew what he did. He said, I put that book out there. Put that word out there. He already knew when I put that word out there, it's going to cut them. They're going to tell me what's in their heart. On that day of Feast of Week, what they going to say? What they had to say? What are we going to do? What are we going to do, brother? We don't heard the word. What are we going to do? Cup said, repent. Be baptized, everyone. Same day, 3,000 souls. Only way you're going to find out the word had to come. Everybody that ain't do it the same day. But you know what he started doing? It will add a day to such. He said, no way everybody going to save them. People don't pay attention to that. All I'm taking what's going to be saved. Everybody that was down, everybody ain't going to get it. Everybody that show up, they're not going to get it. But he will add daily such as should be saved. That word coming, ain't going to prick your heart. They're going to show what's sitting there. Man, let me tell you something. Man or woman, honey, you'll stay steadfast. You'll allow that. This my thing right here, man. I'm standing.
That's right.
I ain't got no charge. That word, man, I'm honest. Everything pricked my heart. Man, I ain't never been honest before in my life. I've been an honest liar, honest cheat, honest homemonger, honest thief, honestly deceptive. Man, that book keep you honest. Man, that word come in and prick that heart. I needed something to undress me. Something to get past the suit, the clothes.
Yes, sir.
The designer shoe. I need something to get past the cologne.
Yep.
I need something to get deep down in there. They can get on the thoughts that, I knew you weren't going to go now. Kind of like, what I love about he kind of like they said one time they were going to use Muhammad Ali and won the rocket. They said they were doing a little practice. So he told Sylvester Stallone, he told him to move. So what said move? Every way he moved, Muhammad had his hand now. That's what I love about that book. He said move. Every way I moved, the book already had me cut off. So he ain't getting bad at that book, son. They done folks to my I outsmart the book. I know you're a hypocrite. Ain't that right? With all the wrong words in it, you couldn't outsmart it.
That's right.
Ain't that right? He still pull himself out every
That's
time.
right.
It's good them words in there wrong. It ain't for everybody to find it.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. It's a good thing. They couldn't have done it unless he let them.
Yep.
He put it in there for a reason. It ain't intended for everybody to find their way. People don't realize that. It ain't intended. You were fine with 3 God. Don't tell no lie. What 3 God? The more they tell you, the more the what? The merrier. Who gonna get mad if you got 3 gods? I mean, you got more than my one. Everybody know numbers make a difference. So he let you have them and still show you ain't have nothing. That's why you got 11. Come right back and say, I can show you a 1 better than 3. Isn't that right? Every time. That's why I love it. Come on, finish this up, son. The word of the Elohim is quick and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, cut between the joint and the marrow, and his intent, and what is it? The joint
And
and
is
the
a
marrow.
discerner of the thoughts and
the
intents of the heart.
Neither.
Is there any creature
That is not what?
manifest in his sight,
For all things are.
naked,
And who?
open,
With whom?
unto the eyes of him
With whom?
we have to do?
What happened, son?
Seeing then that we have a great high Kohan
Y'all hear this? Seeing then we have a great high Kohan. Tell them about him.
that is passed into the Shamayim,
Y'all hear what he done passed into? The Shamayim. That's important for y'all. Listen.
Yahusha, the son of Elohim,
Listen.
let us hold fast our profession.
Doing what?
For we have not an high Kohan which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities.
Why is that important for us? Huh? He came down in the flesh. He's exactly right. Because every high priest, every Kohan is taken from man. Because they're ordained for man. Can't ordain something for me that has no understanding or no dealing with what I deal with. It's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
That's why he came and told you, if I didn't come, you wouldn't have had no sin.
Yeah.
Huh? All this stuff was already set up. You just missed it. It's important for you, just don't know it, champ. He tell you about the Kohan you have. We don't have one that can't feel with your weakness, that can identify with the same shortcomings.
That's right.
Listen what he did.
But was in all points tempted, like as we are,
Tell him about his sinning.
yet without sin.
That's important for you.
Yes, sir.
Listen.
Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace,
Yes.
that we may obtain mercy
Yeah.
and find grace to help in the time of need.
Listen.
For every high Kohan taken from among men,
Is what?
ordained for men,
That makes sense. Everyone you ever got, they came from a man. Because they were ordained for man. They were doing the service of a man. Who else you going to set up to do it? You guess who commits sin? A man. Well, who you going to need to come in and try to atone for you? You're going to need a man. Huh? That's what he tell you. Every high Kohan you took, you had to get them from man because he ordained for you because you're a sinner. I need a sinner to come in here to try to make room and try to make reserve to try to get you back to me, a sinner. That's why the book tried to tell you how the law was weak. It was weak. Therefore, now we start to see one of the pinpoints of the law where it was weak at. You know why that's a problem? Because there's no way to get you perfect when I got a sinner doing a job for a sinner. It's weak. It's weak. Y'all hear me? It's weak through the flesh. That's why he sent his own son. It's weak. Give me one. Give me one that you have. Listen to what he told you. Every high priest, tell him about it again, Brandon.
taken from among
You
men.
give me, say that, Uyakra. Uyakra, chapter 9. These folks gonna say I done lost it. These folks just don't know it. They don't even realize that was the man he tried to tell her they were weak through the flesh. Who? Hey, Yakra. What? Hold on. Didn't I put an A after the Q? Oh, okay. I had to think in my mind. I got too much in my mind. Come on, son. 9 and 1. Listen there.
And it came to pass on the 8th day that Moshe called Aharon and his sons.
Y'all hear that? On the 8th day, he called them. Cut it off, son. Listen.
And the elders of Yasharal.
Talk to me.
And he said unto Aharon, take thee a young calf for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering, without blemish, and offer them before Yahuwah. And unto the children of Yasharal thou shalt speak, saying, take ye a kid of the goats for a sin offering, and a calf and a lamb, both of the first year, without blemish, for a burnt offering, also a bullock and a ram for peace offerings, to sacrifice before Yahuwah, and a meat offering mingled with oil, for today Yahuwah will appear unto you.
Listen.
And they brought that which Moshe commanded before the tabernacle of the congregation.
Y'all hear what he told them? He said today he was going to do what?
For today Yahuwah will appear unto you.
Hold what you got, son. Give me the book of Kahan, chapter 20. Kahan, chapter 20. Jump down and give me about verse, verse 24. Listen.
But Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Yahusha came.
What happened, son?
The other disciples therefore said unto him, We have seen Yahusha.
Tell them what happened, Brandon.
But he said unto them, Except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and thrust my hand into his side,
What happened?
I will not believe.
Talk to me, Brandon.
And after 8 days again his disciples were within.
About it. I just wish I had some understanding some kind of way. What happened now?
And after 8 days
What happened?
again his disciples were within,
Tell me what happened.
and Thomas with them.
And what happened?
Then came Yahusha.
On 8 days, who's supposed to appear? Elohim. Just so happened right here. 8 days again, they were all sitting in the house. He wound up appearing. What happened, son?
The doors being shut,
Yeah.
and stood in the midst and said,
Yeah.
Peace be unto you.
Shalom. Popped up on the 8th day. Should have been paying attention. They tried to tell Aharon that. At the 8th day, he's going to appear unto you. That's what Moshe told him. So at the 8th day, he's going to appear to you. That's what he did. It's just sitting there for no reason. A lot of stuff, you can scratch it out. It don't have nothing to do with nothing. Come on back to Uyakra, the 9th chapter. What verse you like? Verse 5?
Oh, amen.
What verse? Verse 5?
Verse 5.
Let them get it. Listen.
And they brought that which Moshe commanded before the tabernacle of the congregation.
Yeah.
And all the congregation drew near and stood before Yahuwah.
Y'all hear that? And get what? They'd have been standing before him too. The congregation been here for his followers. The disciples. Everybody wasn't there disciples. The congregation, his people would have been there. Listen.
And Moshe said, This is the thing which Yahuwah commanded that ye should do.
What he talking, son?
And the glory of Yahuwah shall appear unto you.
See that? He won the glory of him?
Yes, sir.
Listen.
And Moshe said unto Aharon, Go unto the altar, and offer thy sin offering and thy burnt offering.
For who, son?
And make an atonement for thyself.
Now explain to me how you going to get perfect through the law when a man offers sin for you, he got to first offer for himself. Here we talking about the man finna appear to us. We talking about him, he going to appear before the tabernacle, and we going to see the glory in it. And the first thing he done told the Kohan, try to offer something for your sin first. Then try to offer something for the people. So now we saw that perfection couldn't come through what we would call the Louis priesthood, the Louis Kohan. It's not possible. It's not possible when the first person that you've known for being in the flesh as the high Kohan would have been Aharon, and the first thing he needs to do, he got to offer something for his own sin. Before he can offer something for who else? First he got to offer for his sin. Who he going to do after that?
And for the people.
Boy, we in bad shape. We were in bad shape. The book couldn't have told you that, though. Said, except the Elohim or the Shobot had left us a seed. We had been like Sodom. We had been made like the Gomorrah. We'd have been burned up. We'd have been burned to a crisp. What you gonna do when the man you got leave you a sinner? How you offering up sin offering for sin if you ain't sinning? If you offer sin offering yourself, that means you sin. Then you're going to offer up for the people sinning. So now we see that perfection couldn't come through by the Louis Kahan. Now this is important for you. Now you got it, son. You see now it made sense why he had to change it.
Yep.
It made sense why he had to cut off Eli in his house. See, it was already, I've been told y'all about it. He had to set up they got to be cut off.
Yeah.
Where you were going? We already heard what his sons do. Let's see what they do, son. Shumuel, Olive, 2 and 20. Two and 20. Might be 22, 23. Let's see what he said. Well, back me up a little bit. Make it 17, 15. Let me see what that says. Come on, 15 be fine. Listen.
Also, before they burnt the fat,
Back me up to 13. Let's see what happened.
and the Kohan's custom with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the Kohan's servant came, while the flesh was in seething, with a flesh hook of three teeth in his hand.
Make it verse 11 for me, brother. I know I put 13. Let me hit 11. Listen, 2 and 11.
And Elkanah went to Ramah to his house, and the child did minister unto Yahuwah before Eli the Kohan.
Yeah.
Now the sons of Eli were sons of Belial.
Y'all hear that? Listen.
They knew not Yahuwah.
See that? Ain't no way you can know him. Not if you are the devil. Listen.
And the Kohan's custom with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the Kohan's servant came,
Listen.
while the flesh was in seething, with a flesh hook of 3 teeth in his hand.
Yeah.
And he struck it into the pan, or kettle, or cauldron, or pot.
Yeah.
All that the flesh hook brought up,
What happened, son?
the Kohan took for himself.
Listen.
So they did in Shiloh unto all Yasharal that came thither.
Listen.
Also before they burnt the fat, the Kohan's servant came and said to the man that sacrificed,
What did he tell him, son?
Give flesh to roast for the Kohan,
Yeah.
for he will not have sodden flesh of thee,
Yeah.
but raw. And if any man said unto him, Let them not fail to burn the fat presently,
Yeah.
and then take as much as thy soul desireth,
What happened, son?
then he would answer him, Nay, but thou shalt give it me now, and if not, I will take it by force.
Boy, that tight ass. I'm going to take it. Nigga, I'll take your stuff. Come on, son.
Wherefore the sin of the young men was very great before Yahuwah.
What you going to do when these folks right now? These your leaders. These your leaders. You're exactly right. These your leaders. What you going to do? What kind of shape you in if that's what your leader do?
Bad shape.
You in better shape with your leader. What happened, son?
For men abhorred the offering of Yahuwah.
See, that get worse. Come on, son.
But Shamuel ministered before Yahuwah, being a child, girded with a linen ephod.
Yeah.
Moreover, his mother made him a little coat,
From year to year?
and brought it to him from year to year, when she came up with her husband to offer the yearly sacrifice.
We can put a little heat on. Just kick one of them on. Come on. Thank you,
And,
sir.
and Eli blessed Elkanah and his wife, and said, Yahuwah, give thee seed of this woman for the loan which is lent to Yahuwah.
Listen.
And they went unto their own home.
Come on.
And Yahuwah visited Hannah, so that she conceived, and bare 3 sons and 2 daughters.
Come on, son.
And the child Shemuel grew before Yahuwah.
Yeah.
Now Eli was very old,
And what happened?
and heard all that his sons did unto Yasharal,
The high Kohan. You done heard what that boy did. What happened, son?
and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
What happened, son?
And he said unto them, Why do ye such things?
What happened?
For I hear of your evil dealings by all this people.
And it's a good thing?
Nay, my sons, for it is no good report that I hear.
What did they do, son?
Ye make Yahuwah's people to transgress.
This your leaders. These are your leaders. Huh? Your high Kohan and his son. These your leaders. This is the Louis priesthood. The Louis Kohan. He sat back. I said something to him about it. I ain't stop him, though. Huh? That's why we here. That's why we here. The truth being told. And you just see how we be so law-driven till we don't see a purpose There's got to be a purpose. Y'all got me? There's a purpose so you can see about the wheat. You can see the fallibility of these people. Then you can come along, you can respect the truth of what he came to show us to do. It was need you saw these men first. It was needful so you'll respect what you see him come to do. All right. That's why we're here.
Yep.
That's why we're here. Come on back to that 4th chapter again, son, of the book of Abarim. What verse you left off at?
I left off at 5 and 1, actually.
The 4th chapter? Oh, you was at 5 and 1?
I got to chapter 5.
Oh, you're in 5 and 1?
Yes, sir.
Let's see what he said.
For every high Kohan taken from among men is ordained for men in things pertaining to Elohim, that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins.
Listen.
Who can have compassion on the ignorant and on them that are out of the way.
See that? Come on, son.
For that he himself also is compassed with infirmity.
So he weak. Can't be too hard on him. Now, when I love playing with them sisters myself, that thing I got from them other men, go and sin no more. That's just bad. Y'all all right? Amen. That's what you got to start looking at your leaders. Your leaders got you in the mess you in. That's what you look at. Look at your leaders. Y'all didn't pay attention to what he did with Shmuel, did he? His mother made him a little coat from year to year. We'll bring it up to him. Who remember what Eli did? I'm going to tell you about it. Who remember what Eli did? When they made him the coat, his mother would bring him up year to year. So y'all read it, still can't remember, huh? Don't worry about it. For the who? Thank you, good man. He's exactly right. Y'all didn't pay attention to that, did it? It was a loan. You don't actually think I'm going to keep him. Even Eli told him that. He said, Yahuwah blessed you to have another one for the loan. You know when you loan something, I expect to give it back to you. Let me borrow, mean I'm going to give it back. Not y'all. Let me borrow me, hit mine. I'm sorry. I used the wrong example. I should have used something else. But some of y'all, that's probably a bad example. Some folks, but some of y'all in here understand and print what I'm saying. If I said loan me, you do know me, I'm going to give it back. There was no reason for him to keep Shmuel. He was only for the loan because I got somebody coming. So y'all don't pay attention. Stuff got to be key. He said he blessed you for the loan. He didn't say for what you gave, and though he not returning, I'm going to give that back. This is a loan. The purpose of why you look at these people that gone and were taken down just like Eli, he let you clearly see why he took these folks down. That's going to be a changing. This has got to end. It don't make sense to y'all yet, do it? Let's go to that 7th chapter since we're over here. 7th chapter, Abarim. I got to get them out here. They ain't got long. That book right, though.
Don't know.
I'm telling y'all, that book right. People just don't know it, though.
Yeah.
This is the 7th chapter. Jump down and give me about verse 6. We're going to roll through again. Listen.
But he whose descent is not counted from them received tithes of Abraham.
Y'all hear this? We back to talking about Melchizedek, the name we'll give him because that's what they use for now, till we get the exact name of him. But listen.
And blessed him that had the promises.
And blessed who?
Him that had the promises.
That had the law?
That had the promises.
That had the promises. Listen.
And without all contradiction,
Tell them about it, son.
the less is blessed of the better.
Listen.
And here, men that die receive the tithes.
See, that's what he looking at. We right back to these folk that dead. They done took your money too, and they dead. They leaving him. Come on.
But there he receiveth them of whom it is witnessed that he liveth.
The man that took it from Abraham, he ain't died.
That's right.
People you've been dealing with, they dying, they dead, they gone, they out of him. He going back to try to get us to look at something. He said, let's start examining everybody's position out of how everybody operate. He said, here we've been giving the people that's going to die. Anytime somebody died, then there's got to be an end to it, huh? You dying ain't no end? He said, go back and look at somebody. We're going to look at somebody else's lineage. Let's go back and look at the man that blessed the faith of Abraham. Huh? All right, listen.
And as I may so say, Louis also, who received tithes, paid tithes in Abraham,
Then he made it. He was in Abraham's loin. He had to pay. Listen,
for he was yet in the loins of his father
listen,
when Melchizedek met him.
listen.
If therefore perfection by the Louis
Y'all
priesthood,
hear that? If perfection was by the Louis priesthood, listen to this.
for under it the people received the law,
Listen.
what further need was there that another Kohan should rise after the order of Melchizedek?
And not after the order of Louis. All he telling them to go back, he said, just look at it. If it was perfection by it, why was it a need for him to come, and why didn't he come through that lineage? He did have that lineage. But that's not the lineage he taught you about, is it? He didn't teach you about that lineage. And if you go back, you can trace his mother lineage. You can go back and see where he'll connect. But you know what you won't find him doing? You won't find him operating under that. They got to pay attention. Listen.
For the priesthood being changed,
See that? And what happened, son?
there is made of necessity a change also of the law.
That's what I love about it. I got to make some modifications. Got to be some change in the law. I'm killing out offerings for sin. Huh? Bullock, I got to kill all this out. If I'm going to change it, that's not what I'm offering. If I'm going to take on the Louis priesthood, I'm going to have to offer it.
Yeah.
But since I ain't going to take on them, they're going to be a whole chain. They got to be a chain. What you been offering? What you been offering? He said, so if I'm going to take on the Kohan, I can't come on the Louis. If I'm going to come on the Louis, then everything going to continue the same. Huh? Since I'm going to make it, you got to look, I'm coming back to where perfection at. The man that jumped on the scene, he had no beginning of the day. He had no end of the days. Huh? When he came on the scene, we knew him. He was the king, or he was the Malachi or Shalom. Huh? Interpreted, he was the Malachi or Sadiq. Yours had a king of righteousness. We interpreted it like that man he ruled everything. We saw him, they can't tell he was going to be Malak or Malak. Nobody even talk about this man. And you know what you'll find with who they call Melchizedek? There are no descendants to him. There are no mother and father. There are no beginning of days or end of the day. He was made like unto the son of Elohim. He said, I'm going to come and mimic a man. I'm going to offer for the people. I'm going to come through. I'll come through by the law, but you made no mistake. I'm not taking on my position by the law. I'm taking on my position because of the promise. Back to the promise. That's why we look at him as well, being the son of Abraham. Abraham had promises. That's why we look at him when he told him, thou art a priest for how long? Forever. Tell me when Harun had that. Yeah. Tell me when Eli or Shemuel had it. Forever? That's why it's a loan. We just missed it. We just missed it. We just missed it. That's why Shemuel tried to ask you about it. Shall we sin? Shaul, because we're not under the law? But under grace? No, you can't use that because when you no sacrifice offering for sin, ain't no excuse to commit no sin. Ain't that right? We're looking at perfection. Come on, finish this 7th chapter up.
For he of whom these things are spoken
Talk to me, son.
pertaineth to another tribe.
Which going to make sense. So this is not hard. You know, people try to wrestle on, they keep trying to figure how to tie him in from Yehuda. That ain't what you need to worry about. It was set up this way that you should know where you're going to reference him back to, and you're going to reference him back to his father. He is the son of Daoud. Yeah. When you come through, you're going to look at his lineage as well as with his father. You're not even going back to tie him back to Louis, which is going to put him back at his mother's side. He tell you when it come down to where he gonna hold his seat from, it don't even pertain to. We want to know, people try to figure, we gotta figure how to make it connect that how he gonna be the Kohan of Yehuda and not be from Louis. That ain't what you gotta worry about, because you ain't gonna tie Melchizedek with neither one of them.
That's right.
How you gonna tie Melchizedek as a Kohan and he went in none of the tribes? He said, when I met Abraham, when he paid tithe to me, Louis was in his groins. How you gonna tie that man to me? I met the faithful Abraham. Louis was nowhere to be seen. Yasakut wasn't even here.
That's right.
Yaakov wasn't here. Now how you gonna tie me to Louis? And they're trying to tell them every time. Come back and look at what the man tell them. Listen.
Of which no man gave attendance at the altar.
Talk to me, son.
For it is evident.
He said, they don't need to mess around with this thing. He said, look at the paw. It's evident. What happened, son?
That our Elohim sprang out of Yehuda.
Which who?
Of which tribe Moshe spake nothing concerning priesthood.
Had to be like that. He didn't need them to pronounce him to be no priest or no Kahan. No more than Melchizedek needed them to. Listen where he got it from. Listen.
And it is yet far more evident.
Tell him something. It's far more to Paul. Then what happened?
For that after the similitude of Melchizedek,
Then what happened, son?
there ariseth another Kohan.
Go check his linen. You can check his mother linen. You can tie him to Louis.
Yep.
That's not how you're going to make him no Kohan, though.
Yep.
He said, if you're going to make me a Kohan from that, you're going to mess up. He didn't even talk about the Louis tribe. He talking about when they go back to Yehuda tribe. When you go back and look at how I sprang my position, he said it makes sense. Whose tribe you going to tie Melchizedek to? He ain't sprang from none of them. That man got on here and look how he got a position. Listen.
Who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment.
Tell me what law the carnal commandment made Melchizedek a Kohan? Absolutely none. Listen.
But after the power of an endless life.
Listen what he told him.
For he testifieth.
What did he say?
Thou art a Kohan forever.
After who?
The order of Melchizedek.
That's the promise, son. That's the promise. All I got is what the book say. That's all I got is what the book say. He said, I would hope you wouldn't even try to do that anyway, not to make me no Kohan after no Al-Harun. Let's see what he told. Listen.
For there is verily a disannulling of the commandment.
See that? He said, truly disannulling of it. Come on, son.
Going before for the weakness and unprofitableness thereof.
What profit was it for eating those dead beasts? What profit was it for those sacrifices? And look at the people that offered them and did it for us. Listen.
For the law made nothing perfect.
I don't know what they're going to do. Go ahead on and take it you want to now. He just told you that the law didn't make nothing perfect. Tell him what it did, son.
But the bringing in of a better hope did.
That's a promise.
Yes, sir.
I had to give you a promise.
Yep.
I already knew you couldn't make it. If I'd have left the law here just in there and without the promise, you wouldn't have made it. We wouldn't have made it. Come on, son.
By the which we draw nigh unto Elohim.
With what, son?
And inasmuch as not without an oath.
See there, he said, make no mistake. Not without an oath. What happened, son?
He was made Kohan.
Yes.
For those priests were made without an oath.
See that? Uh-oh. They were made Kohan by the law. That was your law. When the people murmured and grumbled in Uyakra, he clearly told us, said, tell them folk to come, and they bring their staffs, and they going to put them in. The one that buttered, that's who come before me. That's your law. I didn't swear no oath to them. Not no everlasting covenant. They never got it from me. In bad shape. Talk to me, son.
But this with an oath.
See that? What happened, son?
By him that said unto him.
What did he say to him?
Yahuwah swear and will not repent.
That's a problem. You hear that? I will not relent from what I said. What are he going to tell him?
Thou art a Kohan forever.
What? Tell me when Aharonim heard this.
Yeah.
Tell me when any of his sons heard this. Tell me when most of them heard this. None of these people heard this. Don't even lie to yourself. None of them guys got about no promise. That's how important the promise is for y'all understand this. Amen. On the day of Feast of Week, that's why Cup told them, for the promise is unto you and to your children and to all that fall, even in minute is Elohim, as Yahuwah our Elohim shall call. Yep. That's what we're looking at. Whole time people running, we've been doing stuff, been trying to tie that man somewhere, and all we did is tie ourselves up. They keep trying to fasten him down somewhere. You can't fasten him nowhere.
That's right.
He done came on to show you, I got mine by promise.
Yes, sir.
How did you get yours? Listen.
After the order of Melchizedek.
Come on, son.
By so much was Yahusha made a surety of a better testament.
Listen.
And they truly were many Kohans.
Listen, plenty. What happened, son?
Because they were not suffered to continue by reason of death.
Listen.
But this man, because he continueth ever.
What happened, son?
hath an unchangeable priesthood.
Listen to that. Nobody, now, find out who's going to come on after me. And you're going to tie me up on the whole room, somebody coming on after me. Is anybody coming before me or after me? You won't see him. That's why we look, he has an unchangeable Kahan. Listen.
Wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost.
Now
that
tell
come.
me when they able to do it. The other Kahan, when they able to save you to the uttermost? Who able to save you to the end? Come on, son.
That come unto Elohim by him,
Listen.
seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them.
See that? Ever living. Once these guys die, what they going to do for you? Come on.
For such an high Kohan became us,
Who is what?
Kodash,
Listen.
harmless,
What else?
undefiled,
Tell them what he is with a sinner.
separate from sinners.
What do he look like trying to go offer sacrifice for himself? That's something separate from sinners. The other priest had it right there with you.
Yeah.
Lay witch on the steps. They make you a whore. They cause you to err. He said he's separate from sinners. Come on, son.
And made higher than Shamayim.
Boy, what you going to do with him? That's why I had to receive him. They had to receive him to the day of restitution. They had to receive him. You ain't had no Kohan that ever entered into the Shamayims. The place they went into was a similitude. And it stood for something. It was just standing for the time to this time we're looking at now. Come on. Everybody you see him here, I told before, they just a shadow of him. It wasn't possible you could be sanctified, that you can be totally clean forever through them. But we learned something from them. Y'all hear me? That's why it's our school. It taught us how to get to him. It had the purpose of when you went to them, you looked for them to try to get rid of your sin, to offer sacrifices for you. Somebody that can enter in for you and do what you couldn't perform or do, but they had weaknesses. And we found a man here ain't got no weaknesses. Found a man jump on the scene. I ain't just started living. I always been living. And I ain't going to never die. What you going to do to a man like that? Not one Kohan we haven't seen ever testify. I ain't going to never die. And I ain't just started living. That's what we love about him. Come on, son. Finish this up.
Who needeth not daily,
As who?
as those high Kohans,
To do what?
to offer up sacrifice.
I thank God for Jesus. He's giving up sacrifice for my sins every day. Where you get this life from? He said, why y'all keep trying to tie me to these people? If you're going to give me the Kohan, don't tie me to them. I got mine by promise. The man swore to me. He said, ain't nobody never got no, the man swore to me, I was going to be a Kohan forever after the order. And make no mistake, I was already here before him. I just let you see him. For all you knew, when you saw him, he jumped on the scene. Told you the less was blessed greater than the other. You ain't know nothing about it. He just popped on the scene. You don't know where he came from. You didn't even know where the city was. Abraham just met him. He was coming back from the slaughter. And blessed the man right there. He paid tithe to him. After that, you never read another story about him until they picked him up here in Albuquerque. You had to get on the other side to learn about him. You thought he was gone. Whole time he said, no, he wasn't gone. He didn't have no beginning day. When he met it, he was already Kohan. After that, hadn't that changed, he was still Kohan. He said just made sense to bring somebody on the scene, make him just like him.
Just like
And you know why that happened? The book of Dabarim already told you about the 29th chapter. The secret thing belong to Elohim. Those things which are revealed, they belong to us. They belong even all this law. That's why we go back to read to see about him, to learn about him. Isn't that right? To see what he came to do. He came to perfect. Listen.
First for his own sins,
Then,
for the people's.
tell me what sin he did. The book told you he did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. So if you made him a Kohan after Aharon, you're going to tie the man to sin. He just told you what they preached. It wouldn't make no sense for me to come on the scene after the order of them. After Louis, it's not going to make no sense.
No.
I'm tied right back up to what I came to break a loose from. That's why he was here, let them hold that office. He said, let them hold it. I can't do it. Where he going to go off of sin for himself for? When the book done told you the man did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. then you're not going to hold that position, not under the coming through no Louis. So he had to get here from Melchizedek after the same order. We don't find what Melchizedek offered no sacrifice for his sin. Man, held his seed forever. Reason of death didn't move him. We didn't even think about it, did we? That's how important. All they've been wrapped up in their book the whole time. Listen.
For this he did once, when he offered up himself. For the law maketh men high Kohans.
What the who now?
The law.
I told you how they were made one. All her rooms. So you tell me that's how he got here by the law? Couldn't have been when he just told you he got here with an oath. Now you're going to tell me the law made him high Kohan. So the book just lied. What happened, son?
For the law maketh men high Kohan, which have infirmity.
Talk to me, son.
But the word of the oath, which was since the law, maketh the Son, who is consecrated forevermore.
Told you since the law. The law had already came here. At the 10th chapter right quick, 10 and 5. Matter of fact, make it 10 and 1. So I'm trying to let y'all go. The book right, though. Ain't it right?
Amen.
Amen.
That's why I love him. He the only man gonna justify himself every time to be right.
That's right.
It made sense when the book told you if he was him, we already had men doing that. He said, I can't do it. I couldn't hold that position. You said some people do some stuff, said, I couldn't do that, you could do it. And then he look at it, you could do it, I couldn't do it. We trying to figure why he can't do that. He said, because I ain't got no sin. He look, I come through your lineage to do it. I got to go in there and tell him, I don't commit sin. That's your law. He said, I couldn't do it. Ain't that right? When it made sense for me to do it, y'all can do it. I couldn't do it. When he got it, he went where he had to go. He said, I don't have no sin. He had to sit right up in the shaman himself. He's like, I don't have no sin. All I'm doing is offer sacrifice for the people. I had to come out of order of Melchizedek. Did you know anything about him having sin? He said, then you know something about me. He got here about, how you get yours? That's how you supposed to have yours, even the plan of salvation. Or the Spirit should come through. It's the promise. Listen.
For the law, having a shadow of good things to come.
And the very image.
And not.
That's tied another one in your shoe. And not the very what?
Image.
Tell me what happened, son.
Of the things.
What happened?
Can never, with those sacrifices, which they offered year by year continually, make the comers thereunto perfect.
So what sense is it going to make for him to walk in there and offer that stuff? What makes sense that I thank God for Jesus going in that temple offering up a bullock for me? Does that make sense he going to go and do that? It don't make sense he going to tell him, I couldn't do it. You can go do it. He look at, I can't do it. Wouldn't make sense for me to do it. Why would I go offer something that ain't going to make the people perfect? He told you what the whole purpose of them doing it, but that was a shadow. All I was doing, you were seeing a shadow. You said, I'm going to Shaman, I'm not going to do this stuff every year. He said, every day you had offerings. You had to go to the temple every day, and on the Shabbat, you had double. He said, I can't do that. You can do it. One of y'all can do it. I ain't going to be able to do it. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. All right. Trying to help y'all out. I wish I could help them out. I wish I could. A lot of stuff just didn't know. Just sit back, start looking at you one, you say, is it contradict? Not contradict, you're just trying to show. It's a shadow. If you'd have followed it and you followed it by the righteousness of faith, you should know who I am then.
That's right. He's right.
You see the need for a change. You can see why you still commit sin. Because your eye, you ain't yet been illuminated. You still stuck in the old way, and you want those people that commit sin so you can be justified because you yourself still a sinner.
Yep.
That's why I love him. That's why I love him, because it's right.
Yep.
It's right. Now, how are we still trying to tie that man to the law for the Kohan? Man told you how he got it. I said, I got mine by promise. Since the law. He let you know that was after the law. I let you get the law, then I came in and I stuck the promise in there. You just missed it. Because, he knew that law will run you right off into the ditch and you don't pay attention. Yeah. Most people follow, they don't know what they're doing. Even Shaul told the law good if a man use a how? Gotta know what you're doing now. You'll mess up. You'll mess up now. Every time these people mess around, they mess up with it. They don't know what you're doing. You're going to screw up because you're going to be tying that man up. You're going to go make that Joe that cape on the suit. You're You're going to have two spears like Road Warrior on his shoulders. Had the joke, jump over some bull horns. They'll mess him up every time. They'll mess him up every time. What would the Kohan suit he had to wear? Melchizedek.
They ain't say nothing.
Just make sure. They got the man, go tell them to draw the pit. They'll put all that fabric on them. Have all that mama curtain on. What exactly uniform did Melchizedek have on? And he said, I was made out of the same order. Listen.
For then would they not have ceased to be offered.
See that? He said, if it'll work, what happened now?
For then would they not have ceased to be offered?
Listen.
Because that the worshipers, once purged, should have had no more conscience of sin.
So I'm going to come through that. That's how you going to tie me in, Leon. I'm saying to tell you now, if these guys would have worked, these folks would have stopped sinning. Right. If all that would have stopped sinning, then why are you going to tie me down and make me come after the order of Louis? What you do when you read this, he tell you this? And you still going to put this Captain Kirk Star Trek suit on us. It doesn't make sense. He's sitting here telling you, nobody got perfected through this. Now, why are you going to try to tie me to it? Listen.
But in those sacrifices, there is a remembrance again made of sins every year.
Every year. Every year. That's why we sit up and we come in on atonement. Every year. He said, when you do this, you right back where you're going to. Because you're weak. The people you got weak. People you got sit around and validate you being a sinner. Come on.
For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sin.
Listen.
Wherefore, when he cometh into the world.
Listen what he said. Wherefore, when he does what?
Cometh into the world.
Pay attention. Wherefore, when he cometh.
Into the world.
Pay attention now. When he came into what?
The world.
Into the what?
World.
Listen what happened.
He said.
What did he say?
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
And offering.
And offering.
Thou wouldest not.
Thou would have not.
But a body hast thou prepared me.
Listen what he said.
In burnt offering.
In burnt offering.
And sacrifice.
And sacrifice.
For sin.
For sin.
Thou hast had no pleasure.
Pay attention what happened. He said when he came into the world, which meaning you already been doing it. That was the law. So you just heard this in the Sabbath day, just told you that, which was since the law. That promise he got came in after the law. You just missed it. See, it wasn't there for people to catch it. He knew you were going to catch the law. You were going to keep running right past the promise. When he came in the world, he told you what he said. Sacrifice and offering for sin, which were offered by the law. What makes sense to say that if it ain't already been done? I made you know the law first. I knew you were going to miss it. That's why he kept. Because, you know, they still do it. They were running so fast to do these sacrifices, offering for sin, were offered by the law. They missed what he said. He said, I had to let them see it. You didn't have no pledge in it. What did happen, son?
Then said I, lo, I come.
In the what?
Volume of the book.
Explain me how you going to come in the volume of something that ain't here yet. I made sure you got the law, then I came. I knew you were going to miss it. They're going to miss all his performance. You know the argument that you sign them people? If you go back to the law, there's no way he could be the high Kahan. Because he got to go back and look at the trial. You're going to go back and you're going to look at Louis. And you deal with his mother and his father, you're going to find that both of them going to tie back to Daoud. Huh? But it keeps accrediting him for being the son of Daoud. Never credits him for being the son of Louis. Huh? Daoud said, I heard the Elohim say unto my Elohim, said thou him. That's what he said. He said, now, if he even told you, they asked him, whose son is it? They said, the son of Daoud. Mother and father both trade back. When you come back from out of the mother's side, you'll find out there's some Kohan running now. But you'll also find, you didn't find him down here operating under the Kohan. What makes sense to you just read the book. Perfection don't come by. I can't do it. Right. Here them fella, you come and say you number 9, you number 10. Come on back. 10 of y'all been here. You come on back here. 9 ain't come back. Come on back. Go show yourself to the priest. All that we're offered by law. Ain't nothing I can do with that.
That's right.
I can't tell. I ain't gonna be able to do nothing with that. Ain't nothing I can do with it. Don't make sense. He said, ain't nothing I can do with it. Because I already told you, it ain't going to make sense. If he came and he will operate in that capacity, it's not going to make sense. He's going to contradict himself.
Yeah.
You need to go do what the law says.
That's right.
But if you got understanding, you should know there was a promise embedded in that law.
Yes, sir.
You paid to tell you to pick that same thing up when it came down to Abraham. Huh? The book told you that if you be the Mashiach, then you got to be Abraham's seed. And you're going to be heirs according to the who?
Promise.
Book said the promise. I don't know how you got it. I got mine from the law. I know. People miss a whole lot with it, man. But you know what? The whole book been in the sky the way it is for a reason. Somebody ain't going to make it. Now, you going to tell me he was down here, he will operate as the Kahan down here? That's not going to make no sense. First of all, your law ain't going to let him do it.
That's right.
That's the first thing. Your law ain't going to let him do it. That's the first thing going to happen. He already know that in itself going to be a transgression. Ain't that right? Second, he looking at, I don't want to know how. Isn't that right? I already got mine by promise.
Yes, sir.
Just we missed it. It's just we missed it. But that's why we're here.
That's right.
Isn't that right? Finish that Romans 8:1. Let's just let y'all see what he tell you right quick and let y'all go. We don't get ready to get out of here. I appreciate y'all tonight. All I want to do at the end of the day, y'all just know, I'm praying day and night. I'm praying Yahuwah save us. I'm praying he say, don't want to be in no error, don't want to be in no transgression, don't want to be no sinner. Y'all hear me? Don't want to lift my eyes up in no burning hell. I don't want to see her lift our eyes up in no burning hell. Listen to the book.
There is therefore now no condemnation
This is what he said. No condemnation to them where, Brandon?
to them which are in the Mashiach Yahusha,
Y'all here to pay attention. Who does what?
who walk not after the flesh,
You know what the Kohan was doing? They was in the flesh. I used to read for a preacher. He'd come in the flesh. He said, come in the flesh. He said, everybody confess that he come in the flesh. It's bone of God. It's bone of God. Come in the flesh. Man, what is in the toilet? In the flesh. Listen.
but after the Ruach.
Listen.
For the law of the Ruach of life in Mashiach Yahusha hath made me free from the law of sin and death.
Y'all hear that? Say that's another law right now. He said, for the law that's in the Mashiach had made me free from the what?
From the law of sin and death.
There go another law right now. There go another law. Now you already had the first one, but you were still under sin. So he done gave you another. That's why he told you that there's got to be a disannul. There got to be a change of the commandments. He tell you about another law right here that made you free from it. Because if you still under the Kohan, under the original from Aharun, you still sinning. This is what he told you now.
For what the law could not do,
Put it on me now. What the who now?
what the law could not do,
And that it was what?
weak,
Through the what?
flesh.
What did he do, Brandon?
Elohim sending his own
That's
son,
what he said, lo I come. In the volume of the book. You tell me Aharun was his son? Sending his own who?
his own son,
In the what, son?
in the likeness of sinful flesh,
For what?
and for sin,
To do what?
condemn sin in the flesh.
He said, I could have stopped Shumuel boys. He said, I could have stopped them. Everybody said, that's the weak through the flesh. So he sent me. That's why he said, lo, I come. It's written to me to do your will. Huh? He said, I come. I took away the first. I established the second. When he told Eli he was going to take him down and preach, I took the first one away so I can establish this one. He swore, you a Kohan forever after the order of Melchizedek. That's what I love about him. Only Elohim can cover himself. And this is written in your law. That's the thing. It's written in your law. It just shows you how people don't pay attention. All this was done for us. What we going to do if he'd have left it like it was? The leader weak, the people weak, and you trying to get to a strong Elohim. The people sinning, the leader sinning, and you trying to get to a sinless Elohim. Only he can set this up and it'll be right. In the time of trouble, he left us help. In the time of trouble, we were in trouble. Everyone, when we was in trouble, we didn't even know. That's bad. You don't even know you was in trouble. You didn't even know you was sitting at death door. You didn't know you was sitting, you were following something. It wasn't set up to save you. It was only set up if a man believed and he followed lawfully, he followed right. he should get to me. But if a man's heart ain't right, if a woman's heart ain't right, you're going to miss me every time. You're just going to be building more campfires. You're going to be ripping out more and more draperies. Be more Star Trek hats. That's all it is. You watch, I'm just telling you, it be complete error. You know, complete error. Nobody going to be looking at perfection. Everybody trying to find out how to be a sinner. Ain't nobody trying to find out how to stop sinning. People trying to look at how he saved sinners and how you still save sinning. People ain't looking at that night in the operation what he took on. It don't even make sense. That's why he tried to tell us it's impossible for them that were once in light and tasted of the cohort and tasted of the cohort, the Kodash gift, and were made partakers of the world to come. Huh? And if these should fall away. Because he said he did it once and for all, and if these should fall away. I ain't like, he let you know, I'm not like the other guys. That's why it had to be a changing. On the old way, you can come back every year. Every time you sin, this time we get ready to do our talk, come on back and talk about it. He said, you can't do it with me. There's no way in the world I can offer about it. I only did it one time. He's offered up one time. What's your excuse? But you know how we got the man marked down? Every day. He keep dying for your sins. Every day. He's just atoning for your sins. The man we got said he perfected you once and for all. He's trying to figure out, so how you sinning? Y'all do it y'all way. Y'all going to hell, though. Y'all do it y'all way. Don't say you ain't been warned. Y'all know what our whole goal to do? We got to get to perfection. That's what we've been lacking because we keep trying to find an excuse to be saved and good sinner. You're not going to make it in like that. Everybody get it right. Yes, sir. That's good, brother.
Amen.
All right.